Perhaps this is the most arrogant fighter I have ever seen. How confident and brave must he be to dare to dance in front of his opponent in a life-and-death match? He is Michael Page, a professional MMA fighter who always takes every opportunity to tease and provoke his opponents. Whenever his opponent is knocked to the ground, he doesn't finish them off, but simply stands there, watching them gradually surrender without throwing a single punch. Truly arrogant. A person who can control their emotions when facing everything is definitely not an ordinary person. Michael knows exactly what he's doing. A fierce knee strike can directly break an opponent's forehead bone, or high and ruthless sweeping kicks can break an opponent's nose. It can be said that Michael Page not only knows how to attack, but also how to control his punches perfectly. Michael Page, the name sounds very gentle, but he is definitely not gentle at all. On the contrary, he is an extremely dangerous viper in the ring. Michael Page's parents are descendants of the Shaolin sect, so young Michael was influenced by the martial arts environment from an early age. He began practicing martial arts at the age of 3, then learned kickboxing and taekwondo. Michael's fighting ability gradually developed when he started competing at the age of 5 and became a champion at the age of 12. By the time Michael was 13, his father increased his training to 5 days a week and 5 hours a day. Such intense training gave Michael an unusually strong fighting ability compared to his peers. At the age of 13, Michael was registered by his father to join an adult competition group. According to his father, if Michael wants to improve his fighting skills, he must move from the sheep herd to the wolf pack, competing against taller and stronger opponents. While everyone was worried about this, Michael suddenly defeated one opponent after another and became a 5-time world champion. In 2012, wanting to challenge himself in a more competitive sport, Michael Page decided to switch to mixed martial arts. Before entering the first competition night, Michael had more than 20 years of practice. Standing in front of everyone for the first time, the moment the iron gate closed was also the moment Michael showed an excellent individual performance. His fighting style is very unusual, constantly swinging his arms to confuse his opponents. When the opponent loses concentration, he will immediately receive a thunderous punch. When his opponent attacks, Michael doesn't even need to use his hands to protect his head. Instead, he just needs to control the distance a bit and use his quick footwork. And then his opponent would inexplicably fall to the ground. When the opponent falls to the ground, Page can take advantage and finish them off, but must wait for the opponent to get up. After confirming his opponent was stable, he began a new attack. Michael's left leg was like a newly unsheathed sword, blowing away all his opponent's hopes. This is the legendary spinning kick. These legs have been trained for more than 20 years. How can the opponent block them? The match ended, the opponent collapsed, the audience was completely confused. They had met many arrogant people, but had never seen anyone so arrogant. Unbelievable, this was Michael's debut match, but he defeated his opponent without shedding a single drop of blood. Michael Page is on a completely different level than the rest of the league. Some people think that looking at Michael, one can see the silhouette of Spider-Man with spooky, agile and decisive movements. Therefore, he is also known as British Spider-Man. But he likes to call himself Page Venom. Michael grew up in a kung fu family. Besides diligently practicing his fighting skills, his biggest hobby is watching kung fu movies. After watching the Hong Kong movie 5 Venom, Michael was deeply affected by it. Michael believed that warriors should be as agile as a snake, confusing their opponents and defeating them with a single blow. Therefore, he gave himself the nickname Venom. From there, Michael's fighting style gradually took shape and became a nightmare for every opponent in the octagon. In just 4 short years, Michael Page has competed in 10 matches and won all 10. Finally, Michael's chance to become famous has arrived. In July 2016, he faced Brazilian veteran Cyborg Santos. Santos's ex-wife is a former UFC women's champion, nicknamed Robot. Cyborg Santos has a lot of fighting experience, having competed in 39 matches in a 19-year career. Santos also holds a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. This duel is not only a battle between 2 fighters, but also a battle of status and honor. Before the match started, Michael raised his right hand and made the pecking motion of a poisonous snake, as if signaling that he would devour Santos at any moment. When the match started, Michael moved back and forth thanks to his agile feet. He launched an attack on Santos. Whether attacking or defending, Michael's arms are always hanging down, like a gorilla, always ready to fight. Is this extremely arrogant? Faced with his opponent's arrogance, veteran Santos did not get angry, but calmly waited for the opportunity. When Michael attacked with a knee, the opportunity Santos had been waiting for finally arrived. He grabbed Michael's right leg and pulled it from the edge of the cage to the middle of the ring. Santos's fighting experience is his biggest advantage. Santos continued to look for opportunities, but Michael held his opponent tightly, not giving up his fighting spirit easily. The battle lasted more than 3 minutes. During that time, they both probe and evaluate each other. In the second half, Michael seemed to completely transform. He kept his distance, approaching his opponents with high sweeps and crushing kicks. The more Michael fought, the more fervent he became, while his opponent was completely helpless. Santos tried to knock out Michael with powerful punches, but was stopped by the safe distance Michael created. Although Michael never used his hands to protect his head, he was always on the move. When his opponent prepares to attack, he immediately steps back to create distance. He even let go and deliberately stuck his head out to confuse his opponent. Mocked and provoked, Santos's anger immediately flared up. He raised his fist, ready to risk his life, but as soon as he punched with his right hand, Michael no longer stepped back to dodge the attack. Instead, he jumped in place and blocked the attack with a knee strike. The collision momentum combined with Michael's explosive power caused Santos to collapse on the spot. The opponent quickly held his head and fell to the floor. Michael won an overwhelming victory. In this psychological game, Page lured the snake out of its cave and killed it with just one blow. At the end of the match, Santos was taken to the hospital with a complete forehead fracture. After the surgery, Santos never participated in another match. However, when this match went viral online, Michael became incredibly famous. His appearance fees increased exponentially. In the next match, he forced his opponent to surrender on the spot. When Trang Venom became famous from the first match, opponents began to fear this thorny, venomous snake. They fear that if they are careless, they will end up like Santos after falling into a trap and having to hang up their gloves forever. But Michael's next opponent is someone who never gives up. Either you knock him out or you get knocked out. His name is David Rickles, with a professional record of 19 wins and 4 losses. David enters the battle with confidence, ready to show off his kung fu skills. However, Michael has no intention of defending in this match. During his opponent's next attack, Michael used his unique attack-defense skills and threw a punch at his opponent. Instantly, it left David stunned on the ground. David wanted to crawl out to grab Michael's leg, but he was punched back to his original position. After standing up, David completely panicked. Michael looked at his opponent without defense, as if he had seen right into David's heart. In the next round, David became so frantic that he could no longer fight effectively. In another attack, he was counterattacked by Michael. Next, he taunted David by jumping on the spot, showing disrespect for his opponent. The match quickly entered the second half, the climax of the entire match. David attempted to break Michael's balance with a low kick, but before it landed, Michael quickly moved forward and punched David in the face. This reflex and speed are instantaneous. When David woke up, his eyes were bleeding. He signaled the referee to stop the match. Who can know where the next wound will be? David realizes his limits and knows he cannot defeat his opponent. This is how he ensures his safety, because not everyone's skull is equally strong, and not everyone can withstand Michael's devastating knee strike. Up to this point, Michael has had 14 consecutive wins without loss. After the match, Michael Page reached an invincible level. No one can defeat him, even the strongest fighting masters. But in life, every creature has opponents. The next opponent will crush Michael Page's unbeaten streak. His name is Douglas Lima, former Bellator lightweight champion. Before this fight, Lima had a professional record of 30 wins, 7 losses and 88 knockouts. He also holds the amateur Muay Thai record with 21 wins. Lima is a true Brazilian, a Taekwondo black belt with incredible fighting ability.
His training ground is home to the most famous team in America,
producing many world champions such as Dos Santos, Joanna, Amanda and Tyron Woodley. Each of them is a championship-level UFC master. Lima can also be considered the strongest opponent in terms of overall strength that Michael has ever faced. Initially, Michael's attack posture was very proactive. When you look closer, you'll see he can change position at will. When he wants to attack with his feet, he stands with both feet forward. When he transitions to punching, he returns to his normal stance with his left leg forward, right leg behind. With a height of 190 cm and an arm span of 201 cm, Michael's fluid transition ability helps him achieve excellent long-range attack distance. This makes it difficult for opponents to reach him. Michael launched an attack and rushed towards Lima, but Lima took the opportunity and pinned him to the ground. This is the most fearsome Brazilian fighting style. Although Michael was like a snake that could freely move and retreat, he was now pinned to the ground by his opponent. At this time, even the most poisonous snake will feel extremely uncomfortable. After this collision, Michael had to defend to buy time until the end of the round. In the second half, Michael no longer defended but switched to attack. The right-hand punches after the surprise attack gradually overwhelmed Lima. When there were 4 minutes and 30 seconds left in the match, Michael stood there, confusing his opponent. He is ready to unleash the attack called War for the Planet of the Apes. Lima stared at Michael's left leg, knowing that Michael's Achilles heel was there. As Michael prepared to attack, Lima performed a low kick that knocked his opponent to the ground. Michael wanted to get up and continue fighting, but was knocked down by Lima's left punch. It turned out that Michael was attacking with his body weight on his front legs. With his experience and preparation, Lima anticipated this move and discovered Michael's weakness. This nearly nullifies Michael's attack. In this fight, Michael believed he had lost, which not only pleased boxing fans who did not like Michael's style, but also caused others to start looking at him unfavorably. Even Kelly, his opponent in the next battle, began to provoke him unscrupulously. But this seems to be a deliberate action, because Michael only did it to provoke and distract his opponent. Now, publicly humiliated by his opponent, Michael couldn't bear it. That's why this war becomes especially important. That's your chance to turn the situation around. Winning is easy to say, but if you lose, you will be considered a loudmouth. During this match, Michael was caught off guard and had no intention of defending himself. He even pointed to his cheek, seemingly telling Kelly that if he really had the courage to come and hit him. Then, his opponent responded with an equally interesting action. In the next round, Kelly attacked, but Michael knocked Kelly down and swayed left and right to taunt his opponent. Kelly knew she had been knocked out by Michael and felt that if she remained on the ground, the outcome would certainly be tragic. Kelly then threw a kick at extremely fast speed, but Michael easily dodged it. Next, Michael used his 2-1 Kamata long arm to elbow Kelly hard. When there was 1 minute and 59 seconds left in the round, Michael raised his hand to deceive his opponent. This is his decisive moment. Michael took aim at Kelly and jumped into the air, delivering a full-force knee strike to Kelly's face. Kelly staggered back 2 steps and fell to the ground. Michael didn't even think about delivering a final blow anymore because it wasn't necessary. With this knee attack, his opponent was definitely defeated. Michael used his most unique way to win. After losing to Lima that year, Michael still could not fully recover from this shock. However, he continued to play and played 5 consecutive matches. However, he only got 1 victory while the remaining 4 matches all ended without results. Michael then broke the record for the number of consecutive wins since 1941. He defeated all opponents. But when it comes to the most brutal match in the last 5 matches, the match with Derek Anderson must be mentioned. Derek Anderson, with a professional record of 17 wins and 3 losses, stands out for his extremely violent fighting style. He is ready to fight to the death. This earned him the nickname The Barbarian in the ring. In this match, Anderson started with a low sweep. Perhaps learning from previous matches, he used a low kick as a weapon to finish Michael. But Michael is not easily subdued. Instead, Michael even taunted Anderson as he continued to attack. With 1 minute and 05 seconds left in the first round, Anderson actually let go, imitating Michael's taunts. But Michael's response was a high swing, quick and hard kick to Anderson's face. Anderson almost sat on the ground for a moment. When he stood up, his nose was broken. Anderson persisted in fighting with a broken nose until the end of the round. This is probably the reason why Anderson deserves to be called a barbarian, because of his tenacity and never giving up. After reviewing the injury, the referee stopped the match. Anderson's nose was completely destroyed by Michael. After the match, Michael hugged Anderson, showing respect for a brave man. At this time, Michael has 2 wishes. One is to have a rematch with Lima, and the other is to move to UFC events to participate in mixed martial arts. The main reason Michael wants to move to UFC is because of the strong influence of this tournament. Although he was famous for his arrogance, he never took advantage of his opponent's loss of anti-polar ability to continue attacking. In this match, Michael used all his experience and skills to win impressively and convincingly. This is the essence of Venom Page. So what do you think about Michael Page, also known as Venom Page? Please comment below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss out on interesting videos we will release in the future. Thanks for watching. Goodbye and see you again.